This is Eric Nowak, head hockey coach at UMass Dartmouth. I'd like to welcome everybody back to our virtual homecoming for the year 2020. For today, we're going to kind of go over our playoff game, our first round playoff game against Worcester State. Kind of talk to you a little bit about things that led up to it. The end of the season was a little bit crazy, so we'll go over that, and we'll kind of go over our game plan against them. This is the fourth time we played the Lancers. All the games have been pretty tight. The season series, which consisted of 3 games, we won 2 of them. Worcester won 1, and we had won the last 2. So just to talk a little bit about the way the season went, especially towards the end, we had a great second half and made up a lot of ground in the playoffs and had a chance for second place going into pretty much the last weekend. And we ended up in third, which is a great spot for us. We had to defeat Westfield at Westfield on the second to last day of the season to take them for third. And Worcester State and Framingham were sort of flip-flopping back and forth between 6 and 7. So really going into the last weekend, we could have ended up in 4th. Someone else could have ended up in 5th. So we didn't really know where we were all going to end up. We could have ended up playing Framingham or Worcester. And we ended up at the Lancers. So in our 3-game series during the year, we had gone up to the Worcester Ice Center and taken a 3-0 lead on Worcester, and really had done a great job kind of pushing them around a little bit because that's their MO, to play real physical. And they'd come back and beat us 5-3, and that was sort of an eye-opener for us. The next game was at home. Again, jumped out to a 4-1 lead, and they ended up getting one late, but we cruised pretty comfortably to a 4-1 win there. And then the last game, game 3 of the series for this year, was back up at the Worcester Ice Center. And again, like the first game, out to a 5-1 lead. And before you know it, it's 5-4. And we were able to get a late shorthanded goal to make it 6-4. So we're kind of happy to get out of there with 2 points. Then we see them again at home at Hetland, obviously, in the 3-6 game. And, you know, Worcester's one of those teams you just don't know what they're going to come out with. You know, they've got a couple of real good forwards in Manning and Drebich. They pretty much went through all 4 of their goalies all year. So coming into the playoff game, we couldn't really watch too much video on one of their goalies because we didn't know which one would start. They had flip-flopped pretty much all year. Tardiff had come in, I think, at the semester he became eligible. So we thought he may start, but Weinstein could have just as easily, you know, got the nod. So we kind of watched video on both of them. You know, the things we talk about before the game, especially against Worcester, is the way they're physical. They're a big team, and they're incredibly aggressive. They do have some skill up front. Their D are all over 6'2". The Manning kid is probably their smallest player, but he could play on any team in our conference, maybe on the East Coast. So he's an outstanding player, definitely their best one. So you have to keep an eye on him. And their whole power play and all their face-offs all run through Manning. So when he's on the ice, we have to have someone standing next to him. And we're willing to give up a little bit of space to some of their other players to take away space from Manning. And we knew that their goaltending had struggled a little bit. So if we had chances on the power play, we didn't need to be fancy about it. We needed to shoot through traffic. We needed to have guys standing in front of their goalie and banging home rebounds because that's the way we were going to score goals. They're a little bit penalty prone. They were going to give us chances on the power play. So we did a lot of video on their PK forecheck, which they had run all year, which was not aggressive. They send one forward down one board, the other down the other board, and they crisscross from front of the net and try to get you going back up. So we just gave them the puck up the middle. We've been doing that all year with a little bit of success. I didn't think we'd have the type of success in this game as we did on the power play. 5 power play goals is a lot. It's a tremendous amount in a playoff game. So it turned out a little bit better than we thought it did. But I think the key for us was to kind of weather the storm physically with them. We like to be a physical team as well, but they kind of pride themselves on that and kind of getting pucks deep, being real simple and neutral and banging bodies. So we knew we needed to have a good first pass in the breakout and use our skill to kind of get around them and stay out of the penalty box. And obviously, I think we did a pretty good job of doing that.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, hockey fans of all ages, this is Hetland Ice Arena in New Bedford, Massachusetts, and today it plays host to the quarterfinal round of the Massachusetts State Collegiate Athletic Conference 2020 Men's Ice Hockey Championship Tournament. It's the number 3 seeded UMass Dartmouth Corsairs hosting the number 6 seeded Worcester State Lancers. And once again, I am Mad Dog Matt Nelson, bringing you all the action high above the ice surface here on the south coast of Massachusetts. The starting goaltenders for the Corsairs, it is Daniel Davidson, the freshman out of Surrey, British Columbia, coming into today's action with a 4-4-3 record, a 2.10 goals against average, and a .937 save percentage. For the Worcester State Lancers, it is number 20, Nevin Tardiff out of Dunstable, Massachusetts. He is also a freshman. He comes in with an overall record of 1-7-1 and a .901 save percentage, a .333 goals against average. It's going to be the captain, Stephen Leonard, in to take the opening drop, going up against number 16, Kyle Hayter of the Lancers. And the puck is dropped, and we are underway. The visiting Lancers wearing their all royal blue jerseys, royal blue shorts, gold trim, and white trim around the Lancer gold numbers and lettering. The Corsairs in their home white jerseys, navy blue shorts with Corsair gold trim around the navy blue numbers and lettering. Sean Leonard tees up a shot, and it deflected off of the crossbar. A scrum in front, and Tardiff is on top of it. We will have a face-off to his right. Crazy shot right off of the bat for UMass Dartmouth. The slap shot from the point, a one-timer by Sean Leonard, deflected right out in front. I think it went off of one of the Lancers. UMass winning the ensuing face-off, I should say. And the Lancers able to carry out into the neutral zone. 40 seconds into the first period, they dump and chase. It comes out into the slot. Sean Leonard deflects it to his brother Steven, and back to Sean, now up to Austin Miller wearing number 15 for the Corsairs. He makes a nice stick move. The indirect self pass goes all the way around the end boards behind Tardiff, and UMass changes out one by one. This one deflects off of Cameron Mack onto the ice and goes to the right of Tardiff to the end boards. David Skarbick gloves it down in the neutral zone, all the way back behind Davidson. Started the season on the injured list and on the shelf. He makes his first stop of the game and holds on for the face-off. The shot coming from the neutral zone. Winner of this game will go on to face the Fitchburg State Falcons. That game would be Tuesday at 7 p.m. on March 3rd in Fitchburg. The Lancers winning the face-off. The shot going well wide. Might have been looking for a tip out in front, all the way out into the neutral zone. Now it is Skarbick, kind of bobbing and weaving, trying to get around number 10, Drevich. Now it is Kai Kapasi, who has made his way all the way up to the top line. A whistle stoppage. There's a Corsair down on the ice in a fair amount of pain right inside the offensive blue line for UMass. And he is immediately attended to by both trainers and a crowd gathering around him. Able to get to all fours. We are a minute and 50 seconds into the first period. Still scoreless in the first round of the Massachusetts Athletic Conference. You can see him just going down there. He might have gotten clipped, and he's able to get up and skate off under his own power. So it Kai Kapasi that went down, the assistant captain. We'll have a neutral zone face-off just outside of where Kapasi went down. 3 total shots on net, 2 for the Corsairs. In the first couple of minutes of this game, Jimmy Pelton chasing it around. Behind the net, wraparound attempt and losing control of it was Derek Brittner in the third line center. Here's Pelton. He tried to get it all the way up to Eric Bolden. A little bit of a different look, as Bolden was the left wing of Cameron Mack and Dylan Radin's line. That is now Kai Kakasi. Stephen Leonard, the captain, centering the second line. His wings are Michael Perrone and Austin Miller. Brittner centering Jimmy Pelton and Eric Bolden. John Graylish centering Melker Kroon and Patrick Wren. The defensive pairings for UMass: Sean Leonard and Ryan Muscali. The second pairing, David Skarbick, Jake Maynard. And the third pairing, Pat Twombly and Nicholas Short. The extra skater today is Stephen Perrault. For the length, the top line is centered by Kyle Hayter. These are Will Ahern and Ryan James. Matthew Manning centering the second line, winged by Gunther Stang and Brian Smith. The third line, Dieter Stang and Nick Panucci, Eric Pritchard. The fourth line is centered by Nick Patullo, Kevin Drevich, and Tim Drevich are his 2 wings. A shot and a penalty is going to be assessed to Worcester State. 16:36 to go in the first period, and UMass is heading to their first power play. It is number 2 in the box for the Lancers. That's Brian Smith, and the call is a trip. The defensive pairings for the Lancers: the top pairing, Colin Witt and Jake Corellis. Second pairing, Henry Bruckner and Max Roth. And the third pairing, Peter Steiff and Stephen Titoni. Sean Leonard off of the face-off. Back to Leonard at the top of the point. Austin Miller down low. He launches a shot. It went wide. Stephen Leonard spinning it around to Sean. Back over to Miller. Miller down low for Radin. Radin back to Miller. The shot and a save by Tardiff off his left pillow. Miller able to grab the rebound. Down to Radin down low. This one deflected off the end boards. Sean Leonard not able to catch up to it at the blue line, and the UMass Corsairs will reset. Austin Miller in with speed, stopping, switching directions out to the blue line for Stephen Leonard, who made a nice move to keep it in. His shot was blocked by number 17, Ryan James. Sean Leonard, the defenseman, he scores! He launched a shot from just about the half wall on a line with the face-off dot, and it got by Tardiff. UMass is on the board 4.5 minutes into the first period. It's going to be Sean Leonard assisted by Stephen Leonard. Let's take another look. Right on the wall, making his way right on the face-off dot is where that shot came from. Doesn't look like it was deflected. Perrone might have gotten a little piece of it out in front. Either way, UMass is on the board, 15:33 to go. The goal to Sean Leonard, assisted by Dylan Radin. Now we have, I believe, a hand pass, or it deflected up into the UMass bench. It is a hand pass, so the face-off will come all the way to Davidson's left. It is Derek Brittner in to take the face-off, still loose. Now Twombly's going to chase it down, trying to force it to Radin. Nicholas Short behind Davidson, holding, waiting for some help. He gets it in the form of Derek Brittner. Lancers take over. It's Dieter Stang. Shot loose, a pile-up in front. Davidson was down. He might have lost his stick at one point in that. Now Kapasi, the indirect self-pass, a 2-on-1. Kapasi tries to make a good stick move. Good to see Kapasi back on the ice after that injury where he was down earlier on in this first period. Jimmy Pelton trying to chase it down. The Lancers able to escape. And now a semi-break. A shot and a stick save by Davidson. Number 7 was in alone. Gunther Stang. Out of Niles, Illinois, the sophomore. Stangs are brothers. 1 year older is Gunther. The sophomore, his brother Dieter, the freshman. UMass changing out all 3 forwards as a big hit, a loud hit in the neutral zone by Patrick Wren, who was the extra skater earlier on in this season. He has made his way to the 4th line on a regular basis. A lot of contact is the physicality picking up in this one. UMass with 6 shots on net so far. The Lancers with 5. It is a stacked tournament. All 6 seeds have a chance to go all the way for the MASCAC Conference crown. Westfield State, the number 4 seed, hosting the number 5 Salem State later this evening. A quick shot was blocked out in front. Now it is Short keeping it at the blue line. The Lancers able to chase it down. 12:40 to go now in the first period. 1-0, the Corsairs leading the Lancers. The number 1 seed, Plymouth State, will host the winner of the Westfield and Salem game. And as mentioned, the Fitchburg State Falcons will host the winner of this game between the Worcester State Lancers and the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs. Skarbic kind of misread it at the blue line. He had a chance to keep it in the offensive zone. 12 minutes even to go in the first period. UMass 1 for 1 on the power play. That is the only goal scored to this point. Austin Miller can't control the pass. It goes all the way down for an icing against the Corsairs. A couple of big hits early on in this first period as both teams try to set the tone for what kind of game this will be. Miller collects it just inside the red line. Tries to make the nice stick move and get it closer towards Tardiff's net. Unable to do so. The Lancers able to clear but not out. Miller again trying to deke through the legs of the defenseman that is covering him. And it's taken by the Lancers, unable to keep it in. They will have to tag up and clear out of the offensive zone. They do just that as UMass collects the puck. It is number 2 with it. That's Jake Maynard. Tardiff playing this one on the right side of his net. Willa Hearn out of Charlestown, Mass, banging it around. The Corsairs take it back. Now it is Stephen Peralt, the extra skater, launching one on net. That one deflected wide. Another shot. A loud save by Tardiff off of his pad, and he was able to cover up for the faceoff with 10:53 remaining. A little bit of a shoving match ensues. Sean Leonard was in, surrounded by 3 or 4 Lancers. Cooler heads prevail. Cameron Mack in to take the faceoff. And the Lancers take possession off of the faceoff. Dylan Radin, however, chasing it behind the net, trying to get it over to Kapasi in front of the net. That didn't connect. Kevin Drevich offsides is the call against Worcester State, who are asking for a slash. Number 10 lost his stick. That is Tim Drevich. A couple of sets of brothers on this team. Tim, the elder of the Dreviches. The junior, Kevin, the freshman. Ten and a half to go. This one collected and thrown on net by number 4, Stephen Peralt. Doesn't connect. Another hit rattled the doors of the penalty bench. Now Sean Leonard behind the net, able to break away from the 2 pressuring Lancers. Now it's Jimmy Pelton in with speed. His shot deflected off of the leg of number 27. That's Nick Panucci. Halfway through the first period, 1-0 UMass over the Worcester State Lancers in game 1 of a possible 3 in the MASCAC Conference Tournament. A shot pad save by Davidson. The rebound to the half wall. Now it's Nick Short behind the net, holding as all 3 UMass forwards change out. Now getting tripped up, that's going to earn the call, and a shoving match ensues. Short was in to protect his man. Number 29 went down. That's John Graylish. Very clear trip. UMass will head to their second power play. As we look back, and Short's going in for the retaliation. So there's the trip. And then Short with the retaliation, allowed hit off the boards. That might have been before the whistle, so that's what UMass's argument is that Short shouldn't be penalized. And it looks like they're going to be offsetting minors. It is going to be a 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. A lot of room to skate out there. 9:26 to go. Nick Short and Brian Smith in the box for their respective teams. Dylan Radin trying to break it up the blue line. The Lancers take it in cleanly to the zone. Now it is number 17. Ryan James, a shot and a save by Davidson. He holds on for the faceoff. Mack winning the faceoff back to Sean Leonard. Quickly over to Dylan Radin. He tried to spring Cameron Mack, and it is ruled icing against the Corsairs. .133 to go on the 4-on-4, 8:59 in the first period. Mack again in to take the face-off, this one against Nick Patullo. And Mack successful yet again, rung around all the way to Radin. He one touches it over to Cameron Mack. Mack's shot deflected wide off the stick of number 4. That's John Corellis. Corsair is able to keep it in the offensive zone on the 4-on-4, and now Corellis able to dump it out into the neutral zone. 2-on-2 up ice for the Lancers. Corsair is desperately trying to poke it away. Corellis' shot blocked by Raiden. This one inadvertently deflects all the way out back into the Lancers zone by the Worcester State Lancers. David Skarbek, meanwhile, takes possession. The defenseman launching the shot, and it was blocked away by Tardiff. Another shot and another save by Tardiff. Twombly launched it from the far side of the hash marks. 40 seconds to go on the 4-on-4, 8:05 in the first period. UMass holding on to the 1-0 lead. And out shooting the Lancers 10-6 through the first 12 minutes of this game. Perron trying to create separation, a shot, and sticked away by Davidson. Last minute it was a wonky bouncing puck, and now Perron in with the Jets. His shot is saved by Tardiff. He holds on for the faceoff. Crazy sequence there as Davidson had to make the last second stick save as he was expecting it to go into his glove. And that kind of sprung Perron on a semi-break. His shot right into the gut of Nevin Tardiff. Willa Hearn getting kicked out of the faceoff dot. This one all the way in on Tardiff. Off the faceoff win for Worcester State, and he covers up for yet another faceoff. 16 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Nicholas Short eager to get out of the penalty box. Kai Kapasi unable to win the faceoff, but Nicholas, rather that's Ryan Muscali, or Jake Maynard kept it in at the blue line, loose out in front. Now below the goal line, both players out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5 with 7:20. Short goes immediately to the UMass bench, replaced on the ice by Derek Brittner. Brittner immediately with the puck. Austin Miller now working his way out front. A shot, and it was sticked away, I believe, by Nevin Tardiff. Now the Lancers into the offensive zone. The shot deflecting well wide. And now poked away by Kai Kapasi. Kept in at the blue line. Now Maynard collects behind the net. Kapasi saucering it over to Austin Miller. He's run into by Colin Witt. Offsides waved off as Worcester State tags up. Now Maynard quickly running out of room. Sends it up where it was tapped by number 16, Patrick Wren. That puck went deep, and now UMass will change out one by one. Graylish on the ice, trying to stick it down. Sean Leonard collects, able to force it through the neutral zone to Jimmy Pelton, and the Corsairs have to backtrack. Now Ryan Muscali. It's turned over to number 26, Eric Pritchard. Sean Leonard, a nice stick move to create separation. A 3-on-2. Graylish's shot and a goal! John Graylish from Sean Leonard! And the Corsairs are up 2-0 with 6:02 to go in the first. Far top corner is where Graylish nailed that one. Right above Tardiff's blocker. And that was the move that set it up and create the separation by Sean Leonard. A lot of room, and pop the water bottle for John Graylish. And the celly. 2-0 UMass over the Worcester State Lancers. It's going to be Graylish assisted by Sean Leonard. "13 shots on net for the Corsairs. 2 of them have found the back of the net. Cameron Mack launches a shot. Tardiff grabs it with his glove, holds it on his gut for the faceoff with 5:35 to go in the first period. Lancers winning the ensuing faceoff. It is Tim Drevich dumping it into the UMass zone, where it's collected now by Pat Twombly over to David Scarbeck out of Hyannis, Mass. The whistle, I believe it hit the protective netting. It will stay in UMass's offensive zone. 5:11 to go in the first. Graylish able to win the faceoff back to Jake Maynard. Spinner out shot. That one was trouble. The Lancers able to recover at least for the moment. Still deep in the Lancers zone. Maynard collects it with a lot of room. Jake Maynard finds the blocker of Nevin Tardiff, and it went up into the protective netting. Very good anticipation at the blue line there for Jake Maynard. Young freshman out of St. John, Indiana. Defenseman looking for his fourth goal on the year. Spoons the puck down the half wall looking for Austin Miller. Goes all the way around. Leonard now having to backtrack as the Lancers dump it in. It is collected by Davidson. Miller trying to poke it out. Does just that. Now Steven Leonard spinning it up to Austin Miller with a lot of room in the neutral zone to work with. Miller makes the nice move, but the Lancers able to get in the way of the moving puck. It is Jake Corellis, the junior from Melrose, Massachusetts, dumping it all the way down. Ryan Muscali off the wall all the way down. Icing waved off as it's collected by Corellis. Steven Leonard bumped into, and he goes down to all fours. Still fighting for the puck. Corellis behind Tardiff. They go D to D, and now Scarbeck able to keep it into the blue line. Goes all the way in on Tardiff. He covers for the faceoff. Three minutes and 45 seconds left in period number one, with the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs leading the Worcester State Lancers 2-0 in the first quarterfinal of the 2020 MASCAC Men's Ice Hockey Championship Tournament. Collected behind the net by Stephen Titoni, sophomore from Gloucester, Massachusetts. Muscali deflected by Derek Brittner into the neutral zone. Worcester State brings it back in quickly. Muscali forced to collect. Up to Jimmy Pelton. Pelton to the neutral zone. 2-on-2. It's Brittner. And Bolden now dumping it back deep is Stephen Peralt out of Greenwood Village, Colorado. 3 minutes to go in the first period. 2-0 UMass. A couple of jumping Corsairs able to keep it in. At least for the moment, this one fluttering in on Davidson. He will hold it in his glove for the faceoff. Freshman Daniel Davidson making his way back to the roster midway through the season. Again, a 4-4-3 record, 210 goals against average, phenomenal numbers, 937 save percentage. Kai Kapasi pokes it deep, and he's tripped up, and that's going to earn the penalty. It would have been a 2-on-1 for the Corsairs. Worcester State touches up, and they will be shorthanded for the second time this game. A move by Kapasi to poke it up the wall. And we'll see it again here. Kai Kapasi collecting, and there's the poke, and there's the trip. It would have been 2-on-1. Two very, very talented offensive threats would have been involved in the 2-on-1. It would have been Dylan Radin and Kai Kapasi. Sean Leonard off the face-off, deflected out in front to the end wall. 2:15 to go in the period, 150 in the extra man opportunity for the Corsairs. A puck battle behind the net, and the Corsairs able to collect it. Now behind the net is Radin looking out front. Glove down by Tardiff, but not able to hold. Now Perrone unable to keep it in. Sean Leonard in a foot race all the way back in. Leonard able to win that foot race, and now Matthew Manning is heading to the bench for a change after wasting a lot of gas trying to get back and pressure the Corsairs shorthanded. Leonard deflecting. It is ruled onsides and no icing, as Leonard was a step or two inside the red line. $1:30 in the period, 1:04 in the extra man opportunity. Sean Leonard at the blue line, over to Austin Miller, and they score! Austin Miller sent it out in front, and it was deflected right past Nevin Tardiff. It's 3-0 UMass, 1:23 to go in the first period. All smiles on the UMass bench as we take another look. You're watching number 15, middle of your screen. Collects the Sean Leonard pass, and it did. I think it went off Dylan Radin out in front. They're going to credit it to Austin Miller, assisted by Michael Perrone, and Cameron Mack on the secondary assist. 3-0 UMass, and now Davidson forced to make the shoulder save. A lot of contact, a shot blocked away. Worcester State starting to throw the body around. Patrick Wren able to stay upright. 40 seconds to go. UMass 2 for 2 on the power play so far this game. This one blocked away. We have a penalty upcoming. A slash is going to go against UMass. Number 21 heading to the sin bin. That is Melker Kroon out of Malmo, Sweden. Worcester State's first power play opportunity of the game. Kroon upset that he is locked up for the next 2 minutes. 29 seconds to go in the first period. 8 shots on net to this point for Worcester State. Cameron Mack able to win the ensuing face-off. This one backhanded out. Dylan Radin able to hold and force it up to Cameron Mack. 10 seconds to go in the period now. Shot. This one went well high. Now blocked away by Sean Leonard. He dumps it all the way down the river. And that will do it for the first period. A very successful, just about as good as you could ask. First period for the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs, who lead it 3-0 over the Worcester State Lancers in the opening game of the 2020 MASCAC Ice Hockey Tournament.
So again, as that first period ends, here we are back, and you know, we're up 3-0, and we feel great The players feel great, but I don't feel great. I mean, we have 2 power play goals out of our 3 goals, and things are really clicking. Both power play goals were almost identical. They were shots from bad angles that sort of got deflected in front, and that's awesome. And I think, Sean Leonard came down and had a great power play goal, and obviously Grealish's goal was just an absolute snipe from about 30 feet on the right side, and he had a terrific shot there, and it was good to get the second one, and I think everybody's feeling really good, and then Worcester takes a really late penalty in the third, and we send out, I think, our top unit for the power play there, and Austin takes kind of an awkward shot from the right side. May have hit the goalie in the face and ended up going in, but to go in after the first period with a 3-goal lead instead of a 2-goal lead when 2 of them are power play goals is a pretty good feeling. But I went into the locker room and I said, guys, we've been up 3-0 after 1 period against this team before, and it's a playoff game, so you never really know what's going to happen, and we've got to kind of stay the course here, stay out of the penalty box. If we can get the next goal or 2, I think we can cruise a little bit. But against Worcester State, the way that they play against us and the way that they're coached, there's just no way this is it. It could be it against some teams. It's not it against Worcester. But again, they haven't changed their PK forecheck. They haven't changed what the penalty kill is doing in the zone. So we're going to keep, using the same breakout we've been using until we see something different. And when they make a change, we'll make a change. But we didn't really see the need to do anything too much differently. At this point, we're wondering how long the goalie's going to stay in. So if we can get another goal or 2, they may come back in with Weinstein because they actually did start Tardiff. So, I mean, who knows what you'll see second period. But that's kind of the way we approach it is keep playing the way we are and stay out of the penalty box and get pucks to the net and get pucks deep and be simple and be prepared to get hit once in a while because they're definitely going to come out with some energy in the second.
Going into that game expecting to win, we were the better team, so I wasn't too surprised when we jumped out pretty quick. I think we had some good games with them this past season, but overall I think we were way better and we were pretty confident at the right time. So, and then our power play started clicking, so it kind of worked out. And then as soon as we scored the 3rd goal, I think they didn't give up, but I think we knew if we just kept putting pressure on them, there was no chance they were coming back. The confidence just goes up even more for the whole team because you're not chasing the game. We set the tone right away, and I think we had 2 goals in under 10 minutes. So I think it was just big for everyone. Just getting off early like that's just a great start. Usually comes in. I mean, for that specific game, it was more like don't let up on them. We know we have to keep going because it's a playoff game. Anyone could win. So we just kind of forgot about the score, went in with the 0-0 mentality, and kept playing hard.
Anytime you grab a goal late in a period, it's going to have the team coming out in the second pretty confident. And for that play, too, it just you're happy to be involved in the game on the stat sheet, but ultimately just the team going into the period with a bigger lead than you could hope for coming out there. So it was a big momentum swing for sure.
UMass is well on its way to advance to face Fitchburg, leading 3-0 over the Lancers coming into this second period, the 3 goals. In the first period, short 4.5 minutes in, it was Sean Leonard assisted by his brother Steven and Austin Miller. 13:58, it was John Grealish assisted by Sean Leonard. And at 18:37, it was Austin Miller assisted by the 2 Leonards. Sean Leonard, a 3-point day so far, a goal and 2 assists for the defenseman. And for Sean Leonard, his first goal and his 16th assist. The Lancers wearing their visiting all royal blue jerseys and shorts with white trim around the gold numbers and lettering. The Corsairs in their home white jerseys, navy blue shorts, Corsair gold trim around the navy blue numbers and lettering. Stephen Leonard to the middle, a shot, and a save by Nevin Tardiff. Tardiff having a rough afternoon. A couple of goals deflected on him, and one. There was no screen. That was Grealish's goal. No screen, and it just got past his blocker, top shelf left corner. UMass looking to win its first MASCAC tournament since 2013. 7-year drought for the Corsairs. Willa Hearn bringing it in for the Lancers. Now it is number 27, Nick Panucci, keeping it at the blue line. But a minute and a half remained on the Lancer power play. That has now expired as Smelker Kroon is out of the box. He was in there for a slash late in the first period. David Scarbeck backhanding it up to Jimmy Pelton. Pelton able to backhand it past Henry Bruckner at the red line. Now Kroon double teamed. He gets pushed hard into the penalty bench. That rattled the glass. The Corsairs able to get it deep at least momentarily before the Lancers take back possession. Sent all the way in. It is icing against the Lancers with 17:53 to go in the second period. Corsairs taking possession off the face-off, excuse me. Cameron Mack circling to the blue line. A one-timer for Nicholas Short. Dylan Radin collects the rebound behind the net. Now Kai Kapasi trying to chase it down. He's able to keep it in acrobatically at the blue line. And then the Lancers able to clear it all the way through the neutral zone into the offensive zone. Back and forth as Radin dumps it in. A shot by Kapasi found the gut of number 15, Nick Patullo, the assistant captain, senior out of Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Oh, this is part of Championship Saturday for UMass Dartmouth, the men's basketball team, in the Little East Conference final against Western Connecticut. That game has gone final, and the Western Connecticut Colonials have gotten the better of the Corsairs, 88-75, the final in that one. Daniel Davidson, the freshman out of Surrey, British Columbia, outside of Vancouver. In net for the Corsairs. Freshman 6'1", 185 pounds. He's played in 12 games so far this season with a record of 4-4-3, 2.10 goals against average. Phenomenal numbers for any goaltender, especially a freshman. He's got a .937 save percentage. A shot and a penalty is upcoming as Austin Miller was held on his shot attempt. Number 6 heading to the box. That is Max Roth, the sophomore defenseman out of Chicago, Illinois. Right there, that's the hold. As Austin Miller was not able to get a clean shot off. In on a semi-break and would have had even more of an opportunity, rather it was Michael Perrone on the opportunity. UMass 2 for 2 on the power play so far. One spooned over to Stephen Leonard. Sean. Back to Sean from Austin Miller. Back to Miller. His shot deflecting up into the protective netting off of the stick. Number 16, Kyle Hayter. Junior 6-footer out of Helena, Montana. The Lancers have put up 61 goals this year against their opponent's 89 goals scored. Good move by the number 9 of the Lancers. That's Matthew Manning, the captain. Minute left in the power play. Sean Leonard dumping it back to Steven. Broken up by number 14 of the Lancers. That is Kevin Drevich. One of 2 sets of brothers on this Lancer team. Able to dump it all the way back. Davidson plays it behind his net. 34 seconds left in the extra man opportunity for the Corsairs. Sean Leonard has 3 points on the day, having a hand in all 3 UMass goals. Stephen Leonard shot this one deflected out in front by Graylish, and it went above the crossbar. Now Davidson will leave it off for Nicholas Short with 10 seconds to go. Maybe time for one more rush. Jimmy Pelton collecting at the blue line. He goes hard across to Graylish, who can't handle it cleanly. The Lancers take over, and that will do it for the power play. Cameron Mack lays a hit at the blue line, trying to keep it in and create separation. It is dumped all the way back down, and we are back to even strength. .54 to go in the second period. UMass looking to advance in the MASCAC 2020 men's ice hockey bracket. Winner of this game will visit the Fitchburg State Falcons on Tuesday night. There's a spell of time in the first period where this game got very physical. Bodies were flying all over the place. Looks like might be headed for another one of those stretches. As chasing it down now is Henry Bruckner through the neutral zone. Cameron Mack has it taken off of his stick. Now it's Nick Panucci. Panucci backhands it further down the half wall, and it is collected by the Corsairs. Melker Kroon losing possession forward of the goal line. Corsairs able to collect it at the face-off dot, however. The Lancers dumping it back. UMass able to set up properly the offense. Backhanding it around is David Scarbeck. Jake Maynard sending it further deep. 3 Lancers collapse on it. Now Maynard launches one, blocker saved by Tardiff. This one bounces through the slot. It was deflected and broke the stick of Derek Brittner. He goes to the UMass bench for a change and replaced by Cameron Mack. A lot of offensive power on the ice for the Corsairs. And some deadwood on the ice behind Nevin Tardiff. Poked away, Cameron Mack, a shot, Mack, an empty net, oh, what a pad save by Tardiff! A couple of them in a row, he's wildly out of the net. This one off the outside of the apron. What a crazy sequence for the Corsairs. How did that puck not end up in the back of the net? 12 minutes to go, and a couple of sensational saves by Nevin Tardiff. Here's the first poke that led to the first excellent scoring chance, sticked away. This one blocked out in front of the rebound, and then Tardiff got a glove and a pad on it. The last opportunity, Cameron Mack sending it in on net. If there was such thing as a momentum shift and something to give the Lancers a spark. That would be it. Couple of phenomenal saves in a crazy sequence for the freshman out of Dunstable, Massachusetts, Nevin Tardiff. Tardiff coming in with a 1-7-1 record, but phenomenal stats. A .901 save percentage and a .333 goals against average. This one deflecting into the Lancers bench as there will be a neutral zone faceoff. I'm going to bring it all the way down into the UMass zone to the right of Daniel Davidson. Battle of the freshman goaltenders going on today. Davidson 6'1", 185 pounds. Tardiff 6'0", $175. Austin Miller backhanding it to Michael Perrone. Perrone can't control, and now it is Stephen Leonard dumping it deep. Austin Miller getting in the passing lane and at least touching that pass. This one skied into the neutral zone. The Lancers take over, trying to get it deep and at least get a shot on net. Out to the blue line, collected by Jake Corellis. His shot goes wide. Miller backhanding it on using one hand on the stick to swing it around. And a penalty upcoming. Sean Leonard is on the ice. And there'll be an interference call upcoming against the Worcester State Lancers. Brian Smith headed to the box. It is, might be signaling elbow. A lot of conversation between Matthew Manning, Worcester State's captain, and the official who was back right where that hit occurred. Either way, UMass is going to have its 5th power play opportunity of the game. 2 for 4 through the first 4. Minutes for interference is the call. UMass off of the face-off. This one saucered down the blue line. Cameron Mack backhanding it deep for Kai Kapasi. UMass controls Kapasi down low. Might be looking for Graylish in the slot. Graylish now off the half wall to Bolden. Bolden to Mack. Mack can't get a shot off. He goes skate to stick. Now leaving it for Kapasi. The Lancers able to at least touch it but not clear it. Graylish behind the net trying to poke it along. Bolden tied up. Bolden has it out to the blue line for Nick Short. Short to Bolden, a shot, blocker saved by Tardiff. Cameron Mack collects the rebound. Now Short working his way across the blue line. Down to Mack, a one-timer, that goes well wide. And Short will have to recover. Gives Worcester State the opportunity to change out 3 of its 4 penalty killers. 45 seconds left in the extra man opportunity. Tardiff covers this one up for the face-off. UMass will send its 2nd unit out, led by Captain Stephen Leonard. Sean Leonard, Michael Perrone, Dylan Radin, and Austin Miller. 5 on the ice for the Corsairs. Leonard at the blue line, a nice move to get it over to Austin Miller and keep it in Lancer territory. Now it's Perrone backhanding it down low for Dylan Radin. Radin closed on by a couple of Lancers, sends it around where it is collected by Stephen Leonard on the half wall. Leonard all the way across to Miller, a shot! off of the glove of Tardiff on the rebound attempt is loose. Tardiff is down. Sean Leonard launches one, and Dylan Radin puts it in the empty net. Sean Leonard found Dylan Radin down low, and he couldn't miss as Tardiff was down without a stick, and Nevin Tardiff might be hurt. $4-0 UMass, 8:55 to go. There might have been a penalty upcoming as Dylan Radin went down there. Tardiff goes down and he just can't get up. Good awareness at the blue line by Sean Leonard, who's got 4 points on the day. To find Dylan Radin waiting at the side of the empty net. Tardiff did get back up and he is staying in the game, so it does not look like he was hurt on that play. He was kind of down and floundering around for a little bit. Austin Miller getting the secondary assist. Sean Leonard deserves all the credit for that play, as he made the acrobatic glove save to keep it in the offensive zone at the blue line, sent it across to Austin Miller, who gave it back to Leonard. And then Leonard found the waiting Dylan Radin at the side of the empty net. What an unselfish move by Leonard, as well as he had a 3-foot high, 6-foot wide hole to work with as Tardiff was down in the crease, and he gave up the puck to Dylan Radin. It's 4-0 Corsairs, 8:05 to go in the second period. UMass looking to advance on. Jimmy Pelton launches a shot. That bounced off the leg of Max Roth. Now the Lancers getting their first shot in a very long time. That one sticked away by Daniel Davidson. Corsairs trying to clog the passing lanes. Lancers send it all the way down. Short gets tangled up there. Now skied out through the neutral zone all the way down. It will be icing against the Corsairs. Sean Leonard having an afternoon to remember here in the opening game of the MASCAC playoffs. 4 points, a goal, and 3 assists. Offsides waved off as the Lancers tag up. John Graylish in with a lot of space, backhanding it to Kapasi. His shot off the post! Kai Kapasi ringing the iron. This one up into the protective netting above Daniel Davidson's head. We'll have a defensive zone face-off for UMass. Cameron Mack in to take it against Kyle Hayter. UMass able to take possession. Cameron Mack, yeah, it's going to be offsides. Radin's going to have to tag up. He does just that. Mack slashes it down to the ice. And UMass comes charging out of their defensive zone once again. Here is Cameron Mack on sides, looking for number 4. That's Stephen Peralt. The shot goes well high, and Davidson just let it hit the end glass. Twombly collects behind Davidson, up to Kapasi. Stutter step. Indirect self-pass is taken by Kevin Drevich. 13 shots on net so far for the Lancers. UMass able to clear it out once again. Saved by Davidson, his first test in a long time, and he makes the stop. UMass 28 shots on net. They're doubling up Worcester State in that category. The Lancers have but 6 shots on net. Here's the 2-on-1. A shot and a nice save. Charging out of his net to cut down the angle was Nevin Tardiff. The Lancers have 6 shots in this period. Now being outshot 29-14. We are even on face-offs. All we were before 10 seconds ago. 22 face-off wins for Worcester State, 21 for the Corsairs. Tardiff 4 goals on 25 shots. As Davidson standing up, makes the save and holds on for the face-off with 4:58 to go in the second. Davidson working the clean sheet on 14 shots. And Worcester State's going to change out goaltenders here with 4:58 to go. It is number 31, Josh Weinstein, into the game, the senior. Out of Woodland Hills, California. He's got a 1-6 record this year, an .896 save percentage, and 3.6 goals against average. That might be Worcester State conceding defeat here as this one goes up into the protective netting. Shoving match ensues. Cooler heads prevail. The other 2 goaltenders for Worcester State, Tardiff and Blake Biella, both freshmen. Weinstein 5'11", 175 pounds. Quite possibly could be playing in the last game of his hockey career here. Tim Drevich carrying it on, 4th line on the ice for the Lancers, 4:15 to go in the second. Penalty upcoming to UMass. Corsairs touch up, and it is going to be Jake Maynard headed to the sin bin. I believe contact with the back of the head is the call. Worcester State has had 2 power play opportunities. So far they are 0 for 2. Davidson covers up for the face-off with 30 seconds gone in the extra man opportunity for the Lancers. Lancers with control off of the face-off. Manning working the give and go with Peter Stife. Davidson makes a glove save. The rebound to the half wall. UMass desperately trying to clear it out. Collected by Dieter Stang. Staying with it to the top of the point for Peter Stife. His shot deflected wide. 45 seconds to go on the power play for Worcester State. Stife shot, this one deflecting off of Austin Miller, and that goes wide. Stife shot blocked away, loose in front, deflected to the end wall and all the way through, all the way to the blue line. Twombly sends it back to the blue line. Shot wide, a lot of offensive zone time here on the power play for the Lancers. Able to keep it on the line. The linesman right on top of it. 7 seconds to go on the power play. A shot saved by Davidson. Rebound attempt went wide. Colin Witt with it now. Back to even strength. Maynard comes out of the box and immediately creates separation between Jake Corellis and the puck. Momentary relief for the UMass penalty killers, who are still on the ice. Now Austin Miller able to bring it up. He is hip checked at the blue line. And a little bit shaken up as UMass now has 5 fresh skaters on the ice. Well-deserved rest for the guys who spent a majority of the last 2 minutes in the defensive zone. This one sticked away. A whistle stoppage and more penalties. It's number 4. Jake Corellis is being escorted by a couple of guys to the. It's going to be a 5-on-3 for 2 minutes for the UMass Corsairs. Corellis and Nicholas Terry, the extra skater freshman from right down the road in Taunton, Massachusetts, both in the box. Terry made his way to the box immediately. He was the one called for the original penalty, and then a linesman and a ref chased down Corellis. So we wait word on what both penalties are going to be. Stephen Leonard is awaiting word along with Matthew Manning. Lengthy explanation here by the officials. Let's try to figure out what went on there as the two captains getting the explanation. Let's see, so 12. There was the contact there with Nicholas Short. It looks like it's going to be unsportsmanlike against Terry. There wasn't much there, but there must have been some unsportsmanlike words. This one deflecting up into the protective netting. It is unsportsmanlike conduct, but it is a 5-on-4, so only one of them counted as a manpower penalty. Interesting sequence there. Sean Leonard at the blue line. He's got a hand in all 4 UMass goals scored today. Austin Miller to the net, loose. Weinstein was down. Now it's Stephen Leonard. Leonard out to his brother Sean, all the way across to Austin Miller. A lot of space out there for the Corsairs to work with. Backhanded shot went wide. Dylan Radin. Sean Leonard keeping it in at the blue line. Blocker saved by Weinstein into the protective netting. Let's see, Nicholas Terry went for roughing is the call. I think they announced unsportsmanlike conduct. And Corellis loose in front, and the goal. UMass is up 5-0. Leonard sent it in. Radin was in the area. Weinstein was down. And the Corsairs capitalized once again. Michael Perrone leading the way. Sean Leonard again sending it in at the blue line. Weinstein was down. Perrone. So it's going to be Perrone assisted by Sean Leonard, who's got 4 assists in a goal on the day. There's 40 seconds left in the second period. The Corellis penalty, meanwhile, was a minor penalty for charging. He remains in the box, and he was not assessed a manpower penalty for that call. What an afternoon for senior Sean Leonard. Now a shoving match ensues. Some Leap Day holiday greetings. 13.1 seconds to go. Worcester State very obviously starting to get frustrated as they are down 5-0 in the first round of the MASCAC playoffs. Corellis will be in the box to at least start the third period. Depending on if they assessed him a misconduct or not, will determine the amount of time. 2.6 to go. Buzzer sounds. A little bit of a last-minute contact as Patrick Wren getting mixed up with one of the Lancers. Decidedly UMass through the first 40 minutes. It's 5-0. The Corsairs leading the Lancers of Worcester State in the first round of the Massachusetts State Collegiate Athletic Conference Ice Hockey Tournament.
Yeah, so after the second, we come back in. It's 5-0, 2 more power play goals. Things are really clicking for us. They're becoming a little bit unraveled on their side. They've already pulled the goalie, and Weinstein's now in, and we've had a little bit of success against him. But anytime you see a new goalie in net, the team will get a little bit more energy. And I tried to stress to the guys, and I don't know if it got through or not, but hey, we were up 5-1 on these guys at the Worcester Ice Center, and they made a game of it. Down 5-0 is a little bit more difficult, but they come out in pot 2 right away, and all of a sudden they've got 15 minutes to put a lot of pressure on you. I mean, anything can happen in a playoff game, and I really didn't want to get into this 5-2 type of atmosphere with 10 minutes left. I think our goal is to let's get through the next 5 or 6 minutes, maybe get one, make sure they don't get any. So if you get to the 10-minute mark of the period, it's pretty much a done deal. But if you go out there and think this is going to be a cakewalk for the third period, it's not going to be. And all it takes is just a weird bounce or power play opportunity for them, and then it's 5-1, and then it's 5-2, and all of a sudden, there's 16 minutes left in the period, and we're doing different things than we want to do. We're feeling some pressure, so we just kind of wanted to keep going the way we were going for the third. I think with Davidson, it had, I think, 3 shutouts going in, and the shutout at Fitchburg, the 0-0 shutout was pretty impressive. And the shutout at Westfield, in the last game of the year was pretty awesome too. So we had a lot of confidence with a 5-0 lead, Danny and net, that was probably going to remain that way. But at the same time, you don't want to kind of leave your goalie out to dry at all. And you got to protect him. You've got to keep making good defensive plays to really just stay in those good habits. When you get out of your habits and you start having a little bit too much fun with a team that you're up on by 5 goals, you start doing dumb things, and you don't want to say the word shutout. I can say it now because the game's over, but you don't want to blow Danny's shutout streak, which at this point I think would be his 3rd straight game. Of him starting and having shutouts. It could have been his 4th. So there's a lot at stake here, and to ruin something like that late in the game, you don't really want to be responsible for that. So I think the guys did a great job of keeping guys to the outside and blocking shots and making it a little bit easier for Danny.
I mean, anytime you have a lead like that, regular season playoffs, you're feeling pretty confident going into the 3rd period. But we knew we didn't want to sit back or anything because, as Shauna mentioned, like playoffs, it's a weird type of game where, no lead is really safe in your head. So stick with the same game plan and just know just 20 minutes till we're on to the semis. Our D were pretty solid for us all year long, and that's a game where not only is our goalie stand on his head, the D are really keeping it simple and openly letting the forwards, get the puck, getting down their end and creating some offense that way. But also being on the power play all period too, that definitely helps for limiting the shots on net and giving Danny a bit of a break in the second.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Daniel Davidson between the pipes for the Corsairs, working the clean sheet, 17 saves on 17 attempts. Sean Leonard has 5 points on the day, a goal and 4 assists for the senior assistant captain for the Corsairs. And there was a little bit of penalty shenanigans at the end of the 2nd period. We now have the exact explanation of what went on. It was a charging call against Nicholas Terry. Michael Perron scored on the power play there. And at the same time, it was Jake Corellis assessed a 10-minute misconduct, which is not a manpower change penalty. Weinstein has it in his glove. He holds on for the face-off 34 seconds into period number 3. So Corellis is in the box. The top pair defenseman, the junior 6'1", 200-pounder from Melrose, Massachusetts. He's in the bin until about the 11:30 mark of this period. Jake Maynard behind the net, spinning it up to Dylan Radin, backhanding it now to Cameron Mack, in with speed. Cameron Mack flying up the wall, a stick save by Weinstein as Mack went down to the ice. The Lancers able to take it back. They're wearing their visiting all royal blue jerseys and shorts, white trim around the gold numbers and lettering. The Corsairs in their home white jerseys, navy blue shorts. Corsair gold around the navy blue lettering. Dylan Radin collecting it in the slot. Kai Kapasi deflecting it. It goes all the way down for icing against UMass. The winner of this game will go on to face the Fitchburg State Falcons in Fitchburg on Tuesday night. Puck drops at 7 p.m. for that one. Meanwhile, on the other side of the bracket, the number 1 seeded Plymouth State Panthers will host the winner of the Westfield State Owls and the Salem State Vikings. The Westfield-Salem game is later on tonight, 7:35 drop for that one. Radin able to create separation, and if he turns on the Jets, could be in a semi-break. He is broken up by 3 Lancers. Now Eric Bolden deflecting it. It's loose in the crease, and the Lancers able to clear it to the half wall. Now behind the net as UMass resets the offense. Twombly over to Nicholas Short. His shot sticked up and behind the end line by Weinstein. Shot goes wide, sticked away by Davidson, short. Makes the nice move as his stick is held. Now Jimmy Pelton. Pelton up to Brittner. His shot deflected wide. Meanwhile, Pelton had an opportunity on the rebound, and that did not go. Short backhand to get up to Bolden. He makes the nice move to get it to Pelton. No look pass there for Bolden. Now it's Stephen Peraltz to Twombly all the way up, and UMass changes out its three forwards. Sean Leonard back on the ice, 4 assists and a goal, a part of all 5 Corsair goals today. Sean Leonard now has scored his first goal on the season and has 15 assists. Came into the game with 11. Graylish has a goal. He's got the puck now. Saucering it up, looking for Melker Kroon. Doesn't connect cleanly, and Weinstein rims it around on the dasher. Offsides is the call. UMass looking for its first MASCAC tournament win and championship since 2013. Meanwhile, Worcester has not won one in the last decade. Lancers into the Corsair zone. A shot and a glove save by Davidson. Some after whistle shenanigans. Shoving match between Kevin Drevich and 2 Corsairs. Blocked pass by John Graylish, who went down to one knee. This one bouncing over the stick at the blue line of Tim Drevich. Rimmed all the way around. Short pinches the seam at the blue line to keep it in. Now Patrick Wren sends it around, and a penalty upcoming. It's going to go against Worcester State. Interference is the call against Colin Witt. That was Patrick Wren creating havoc in front of the net. He was dragged down to the ice by Witt. We're watching number 16 right in front of the net, who was already down to the ice. There is the call, interference, and the current situation for the Worcester State Lancers is that both of their top pair defensemen are in the penalty box. Weinstein makes the save and dives on it. UMass calling for saying it was in the back of the net, and Sean Leonard saying that there should be another penalty assist as the shoving match goes on. Worcester State very frustrated. Someone's glove just went flying. There's a Corsair that is gingerly skating. That's Dylan Radin. That's not good to see. He's the top line right wing. Hunched over in pain, making his way to the UMass bench. Long conversation between Corsairs, Lancers, and officials as to what's going to come out of this. UMass calling for a 5-minute major to be assessed on the Lancers. conversation there between the linesman that was closest to the area and the referee that was in the area. Let's take another look at exactly what happened. Number 14 goes down. Looks like it might have been a cross-check to the back of the head or a very hard slash, but Raiden went down. It was number 24, the guilty party there. Sean Leonard's headed to the box, as is Stephen Titoni. 3 of the 6 defensemen for Worcester State are now in the box as they play how many defensemen can we stuff into a phone booth. Is Sean Leonard in the box. Now the conversation is whether it will be a 5-minute major to Tony or just a 2-minute. If it is a 2-minute, it will be offsetting with Sean Leonard. There are still 5 Corsairs on the ice. And there are 4 Lancers, which would mean that it is an offsetting no manpower change penalty to both Leonard and to Tony. Number 23 is exiting the box, Colin Witt. He's got another minute and 49 on his penalty, and now Titoni comes out. And he re-enters the penalty box. A lot of confusion going on between the blue lines at the penalty boxes now, and now the official scorer needs an explanation as to what's going on. So now they're going to sort out whether there's a manpower change. A lot of confusion on the ice for all parties involved, including the official scorer, who is now getting the explanation. It is offsetting, so Sean Leonard and Titoni will be in the box for the next 2 minutes. They'll come out with about 13 and a half minutes to go, or the next stoppage after that time. UMass continues on the power play for another minute and a half. Short launches one, Weinstein the save, and he holds on for the faceoff. Short, D to Austin Miller. His shot deflected wide. Graylish tries to collect. Worcester State bangs it all the way down the river. It's Gunther Stang sending it all the way down for the Lancers. Here is Short, the lone defenseman on the ice. Unable to gain clean entry. Worcester State sends it back down to Daniel Davidson. Davidson backhands it around for Stephen Leonard. 50 seconds to go on the extra man opportunity. Leonard over to Graylish. A shot and off the post for Michael Perrone, in the helmet of Weinstein somehow came off. Another wild sequence in this game. So if I'm reading that right, Weinstein made the save. It got between his padding and his mask. Might have hit his neck, and he kind of shook his mask off. And that, by rule, immediately stops play. Cameron Mack kicked out of the face-off dot, replaced by Kai Kapasi. Kapasi wins it back to David Scarbeck. Scarbeck to Bolden. Mack a shot. Deflected wide. Kapasi collects the rebound. Now Pelton out in front, and he scores! Jimmy Pelton from Kai Kapasi. 6-0 UMass. 3 power play goals for the Corsairs. 14 minutes and 15 seconds left before the Corsairs start preparing for the semifinals against Fitchburg State. It just got past Weinstein. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Six-goal lead over the 6th-seeded Lancers, whose season is going to come to an end here at Hetland Ice Arena in the first round, the quarterfinal of the Massachusetts State Collegiate Athletic Conference ice hockey tournament. 10 seconds to go. All the way around, Cameron Mack collects for UMass. He bangs it out into the neutral zone. The buzzer sounds, and the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs blank the Worcester State Lancers in the quarterfinal of the MASCAC Ice Hockey Tournament. They will move on to face the Fitchburg State Falcons on Tuesday, March 3rd in Fitchburg.
It's huge because, over my 4 years, it was either we'd lose in the first round or we'd make it to the final. So it was kind of weird how that worked out. So every year we had a home game and you get the first one done at home and then you go into the semis, you're feeling pretty confident. And I think at that point in the year, we kind of got back to what works for us. And that's just 5 guys out there sharing the puck and trusting each other to make plays.
The first half of the season was just battling adversity the whole time. It felt like we couldn't get anywhere. It was kind of a couple steps forward, then a couple more steps back. So just to get some more confidence going into the second half and kind of getting hot at the right time. I mean, there's only 25 games, so you just kind of have to play good when it matters most, and we did.
I think it was good to see Sean Leonard finally get some points. I mean, Sean Leonard is a kid that probably plays, honestly, 30 minutes a game, maybe more. He's on the power play, he's on the PK, he's jumping in front of shots, he's making great plays. And, his brother Steve had a lot of points. Obviously, as a forward, he's our leading scorer. And for Sean to be able to come out and have a 5-point game in a playoff and get the game winner was pretty cool to see.
Definitely pretty cool. It was nice to have a game like that in a playoff game, like you said. But I think it was overall just a lot of different guys stepping up. I mean, you give someone the puck and then they got to end up scoring it. So a lot of guys stepped up that game and throughout the playoffs.
I want to thank all of you for joining us for this very important playoff game, a 6-0 win over Worcester State, which got us into the semifinals against Fitchburg, which is a great win for us as well. That got us into the finals against Plymouth. I want to thank Jersey Mike's for their sponsorship of our athletic department this winter, and I hope to see you at a home game or watching one of our games online this season. Thank you.